Our final speaker tonight is Dr. Dave Straton. I feel bound to say the photo that you see there was actually taken by Dave using a drone. Dr. Dave Straton is a retired psychiatrist. He's lived in the Austinville Valley for 39 years. Dave is particularly significant for the valley as he led the charge in staving off a proposal to turn the area where many of us now live into a reservoir. Over to you, Dave.
So, is anybody here during the time that the dam was on the Straton? Just a few of you. Yes. A lot of people. Is that on? Oh. Can you hear me? Yeah. A lot of people who come to events in the hall. A lot of people who come to events in the hall who come from around, not this area, say, wow, you've got a wonderful community there that's really active. There's nothing like that in our suburb. And I don't want to overstate this because there's many factors that have led to this community being pretty active and socially interesting. But one of those events was this thing that I'm going to talk to you about in 1990. Which contributed to the people of the valley coming together. And it wasn't the only story, but it was an important story in why we tend to know each other a bit better than many people in many suburbs do. So in 1990, which is, say, 33 years ago, this September, next month, my wife Liz was coming up the valley, and she saw some surveyors. She stopped and talked to them and said, well, are you going to build a wider road? And they said, no, we're planning possibly to build a dam here, and the valley will be flooded because we're going to run out of water. And what? And so we got onto SEQ Water and found out about it, and that indeed was the situation. It was one of a number of sites that had been considered after the Goss government had cancelled the Wolfdean plan. So this was the situation. The Goss government cancelled Wolfdean, and suddenly there was a problem: where's the water going to come from the Gold Coast? And the Hinds Dam was at the stage 2, not stage 3. The Little Narang Dam. These are the sort of numbers. And Austinville proposed a storage of 60,000 megalitres. The bit that really matters is not the storage size; it's the actual seed, the rate of supply. So this creek here is actually a bit less than the Little Narang Creek. They were going to build a dam pretty much where the Austinville Road and the Springbrook Road split, and the creek just this side of it. It's going to be about 60 metres high. The whole valley would have been flooded, and all the houses up to the skyline would have been removed. Well, this got people's attention, and we stuck a notice up on the tree there on the fork down the dam, and put around a number of leaflets in the letterboxes around the place. And we had 200 people come to a meeting here, which is, well, there's about 80 here today, so it was packed. We put out questionnaires so that people could write down their phone number and their name and what they knew about, what skills they could contribute. And we set up a committee, and each member of the committee had a sort of particular role, and anybody whose skill set fitted that person joined that committee member. So we organised it with phone circles. This is really before the internet to speak of. There were 1 or 2 people had email, but not many. And I don't know if you understand phone trees, but a phone tree is like a kind of the delta of a river. One person rings 3, and each of them ring 3, and each of them ring 3. Now, if somebody's out, everybody downstream of them doesn't get the message. Are you with me? Whereas a circle, you have, say 10 in your circle, and I ring that one, and that one rings that one, and that one rings that one, and that one. And then each member of the circle rings their own circle. Now, if anybody's out, you just ring the next one in the line. So it has the effect of getting through. We could get to everybody in about half an hour. And we had these different things. Media, there's quite a lot of skills in there, really. We had surveyors, we had people who could make a video of the creek and say how beautiful it was and what would happen if it was dammed and so on. people in charge of letterbox drops, fundraising and so on. It was terrific. It was I've been in many environmental campaigns and this was way the best I've ever been in. But one thing, everyone was on the same side. So there was a lot of agreement about it, which worked pretty well. These are some of the people. Only those people here? There's some of the people who were active in the campaign at the time. But we had a number of people we had to ring. We had the Premier, who was Wayne Goss. He had a young political advisor who you've heard of, Kevin Rudd. He rang him a lot. And water resources people and so on. We made quite a fuss. And after a while, we were successful. And our valley was taken off the list. And it was a huge relief. And but it was quite an exercise, and it brought a lot of people together. And it's been, there are many other factors that have contributed. I'm looking at you, Sharon Wilson, who worked for a long time that helped this whole function, and you, Tiff, and your committee and so on. But it was a really big event, and before that time, I don't think, maybe just the perspective I had, I'd lived here about 7 years at the time this all happened. But I'm just going to show you a 4-minute video of some of the things that happened when it was all successful.
Just concerned about the audience. Can you turn that mic off? And we'll...
Okay.
Give it a go, Dave.
The video was a bit primitive in those days. So.
Looks like a French impression.
Hills and trees, and sitting and looking at the creek, you see a part of the small things. And also sort of noticing the things that I've done to my place, the trees that I've planted and things like that. And you realise how precious they are, don't you? And I guess we all had quite a fright. I certainly had a fright to think that we might lose all of that. And I'd like to propose a toast, for those of you who are drink ready, to the Austinville Valley, to the Mudgewa Creek, and all who live here. But I guess other people have got a few more stories. I've really enjoyed the last night. It's one of the best, as long as you win, it's one of the best things that can happen, isn't it? It pulls us all together. A lot of people didn't know each other, and suddenly we're all here and on the same side and stuff like that. I have the 2 ambitions out of this, and one is that we can somehow preserve and enlarge upon the sense of community spirit that I've felt in the last few weeks. And I don't know if the rest of you feel the same way, but I've really enjoyed the feeling that a lot of neighbours have become friends, neighbours that I didn't even know. Also, in a couple of months, we're going to have a kind of valley party or some sort of dance here. Right, I think that's a great idea.
This is Fred Knapp that you were hearing about before. He's the guy that donated the Straton. Journey to the There's a Straton Park. Alex Lyon. There's Terry Schneider. I'm just going to give you a very quick rush through some of the events that have happened here. People have having a lot of it, but we've had a lot of fun with different things like a Venetian masquerade. Every now and then you'll recognise somebody. Some of you'll recognise people.
Oh, Julian Warren again.
It's Julian, guitar champion. There's Wall. That's Wall. Michelle. Medieval Banquet. That was another good one. You get the general idea. There's been a lot of fun in this wall and over there. There's actually Kathy Bacon. Okay, let's hear that. Any questions?
Make a statement.
Yes.
You haven't aged very well
So Dave, do you think the action had an effect? Like, do you think they may have put the downhill?
No, I think at the end of the day they pushed the hens dam up. You know, they built a huge desalinator down at the airport, which hasn't been used as far as I know. Part of the, you know, I got asked to go and give talks in some of the other valleys after we were knocked off the list. You know, how do you stop the dam? And so I had to go to talks to Talabudra. And I think the campaigning aspect of it was really easy for it to be a NIMBY story. You know, not in my backyard. Go and build it in Talabudra, and Talabudra would say the opposite. Go and build it in Austinville. And it was somehow to get past that. Now, part of the problem then in 1990 was the Albert Shire, as you know, probably the Albert Shire and the Gold Coast City coalesced after this time. The Albert Shire was the fastest growing place in Australia, and one of the fastest, I think, in the southern hemisphere, something like 10% a year. And when you have growth rates like that, it's not a matter of whether or not the place is going to get dammed, it's going to be just when is it going to get dammed. And they also had no metering in Brisbane, so you could just spill water wherever you wanted. And they were using, I think, 600 litres a day per person up there, whereas down here we did have metering, and a lot of people in the valleys had their rain tanks. So, you know, we put a big push on meter Brisbane, stop swallowing all our water and flooding us to cope with it, and you know, make some kind of balance between supply and demand. More growth is not always better, and I think that got through actually. But it was quite an interesting time.
You realised it wasn't as damn in Talabudra years ago?
No, I didn't.
Still there.
Yeah.
Still there.
Yeah.
A lot of kids still swim.
Yeah, it was weird, but that sort of, I think, supplied Burley probably when I was a kid.
Did it? Yeah.
Thank you, Dave. ask the four speakers to stand up and let's give them a round of applause one last time. To our soup making team, there was George, there was Britt, there was Lisa.